Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In law, ignorance is no excuse, is one. Second is how stupid we are, or are we? It's a question, not rhetorical by its nature. And I will be examining that as well. On the backdrop of that, I will also be explaining to you what nayscience is. Spelt ni, N-E, and science. It essentially means no science. But first of all, we will be exploring ignorance is no excuse. Because to be ignorant of what you have signed or autographed or agreed with, verbally or written in format, has dire consequences. And it is my job for the end of year 2021 to explain to you the best I can the disastrous consequences of signing those documents, written, or making verbal contract, or by any other means, by, say, consent. And it is this consent which also alarms me. Because your silence in this matter, your silence in the matters of your own health will get you vaccinated, as opposed to being unvaccinated. By you remaining silent has disastrous consequences to you, as well as your neighbor and the people at the end of your road. This is called silence is acquiescence in corporate law. Because you are also considered a corporate instrument, i.e. even your driving license will say for domestic and business purposes, which means you are domestic as well as business. Previously it never did so. You didn't know that they turned you into a corporate instrument as well. And that's all perfectly fine, but not being able to distinguish one from the other puts you in dire position. And my presentation here is not going to be for the light-hearted or the light-minded. It will be direct, and it will show you how things operate in your world as it is, as opposed to how it should be, what they call ought. The distinction between what is and what ought is. Ought is you just simply protesting how things shouldn't be, but do nothing about it in the back of your armchair. So we were dealing the world of what is, as the facts are presented to you by a second, third party, which means that I am not drawing this up. It's sourced and cross-referenced. I first of all will explore with you the word meanings of just one or two words. And I want you to consider this as a sign, as 100% evidence of how stupid I am and have been, and how stupid you have or still are being. Just on the back of these two words. The other word is just for backup, just in case you're not convinced. Let's have a look at one particular word. When you do your prayer, say you're doing the Lord's Prayer, as it were. Unfortunately, Lord means landowner, and the cattle and the chattel that they have to house. We'll put that aside, like our Father which art in heaven, which are, hallowed be thy name. And as noble as that prayer is, that offering, you seal that noble prayer with a word called Amen. And you are led to believe the word Amen means that you are sealing the prayer, that it's an affirmation. An affirmation. And at the same time, in our everyday vocabulary and written format, we clearly come across words like, wow, what a amoral person or woman or man he or she is. And what does amoral mean? I don't mean a and then a space and then morality. A man and amoral as one word. I'll give you the definitions before I stop speaking about this. You do that. You know, and your subconscious knows, that when you put an A in front of morality or moral, it means person or a man or a woman that has no morals, lacking in morality. You know that, and I know that. So why would you, in all of your sincerity, who would make a genuine prayer to bless others and yourself and your people around you as well, why would you? And who has taught you to seal your sincerity with the word amen? When your subconscious mind knows fully, as your conscious mind does, that when you put the word a in front of a man, it means no man. What kind of a vile, disgusting, distorted organization, or men and women, created such a way for you to break your own sincerity, your own prayer? What off-witted Catholic Church, Anglican, Church of England, what religious, disgusting organization did this to you? Where in all of your sincerity, you have said a prayer for the benefit of your fellow man, and you are sealing that prayer by saying no man. By you adding that prefix a in front of moral, you are saying that that man or woman lacks moral. You know that. You know that. And if I was to ask you to take away that a in front of the word moral, what are you left with? You're left with moral. And it's like me saying, oh wow, what an incredibly moral man he is. Which you will have 100% closure as to what the volition, what the spirit of what that means when I say to you, like my friend, for example, or my girlfriend, or the friends of the court, that wow, what levels of morality, what an incredibly moral man he is. You would have no mistake as to what that means. And yet, if I was to put the prefix a in front of the word moral, you would have no mistake as to what that means by saying what an amoral man he is, to say that he lacks no morality, no center of gravity, no sense of truth, justice, or anything else. You have 100% meaning as to what that means, and there is no doubt about it. Now that I have educated you on what the word, that simple one word contract, that one letter contract that is coming out of your mouth, as in, say, John's Gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Telling you what comes out of your mouth has the ability to create. What toxicity made you seal your sincerity with a man? If I was to say to you, what an immoral person you are. Yes, you out there. It's for me to make it very personal for you. If I was to say to you, what an immoral person you are, you will have no mistake. You will fully know what I mean when I say, gosh, she's such an immoral person. She is such an immoral lady. Sorry, lady, can't be a lady, a woman. That he is such an immoral man. You would have no mistake. You would have 100% level of congruence on what I have said to you. So we now know that by adding the word in in front of moral, you are left with a man or a woman that has no morals, morality, no center of gravity. You know that. And there is no misunderstanding between me and you. No misunderstanding whatsoever, even though it's stated in its negative state of condition, as David Wayne Miller points out. And another word would be, I have said to you, what an incompetent man you are. Gosh, I cannot believe how incompetent you are. By adding the word in front of competence, I have clearly stated that you have no competence, that you lack competence. You know that, I know that, and there is 100% congruence in what I have just said to you. And if I was to be sued by you, and if you was to sue me to say, Mark, we are not incompetent, what is it that you're asking me to do? You're asking me to remove the in front of the word competence. By doing so, you are suing me for a change in word by just simply removing the word and making you, therefore, competent. You know what competent means. It means a man or a woman that is able to complete a task. It means to complete. Lack of completeness is incompetence. You know that. I know that. And I, as a plenipotentiary judge, have explained it and made you cognizant of it, just as David Wayne Miller did. This is David Wayne Miller's finding, which I'm presenting to you to wake you up so you be ready to go into the corona period that is being birthed for you. I'm preparing the ground for you. So, how powerful must your foe, F-O-E, be? How powerful can they be or are to convince you the direct opposite of what incompetence means? How powerful can they be How stupefied can I be, knowing that IN means no, that A as a prefix means no, with repeated examples, qualified, word after word, clearly pointing out it means no, no, no. How susceptible must I have been in my life? How susceptible are you in your life to be convinced that incompetence means that you are competent? In other words, that which is black has now become white. That which is white has become black. That which is yellow has turned into any other color but yellow. How susceptible could we be? I will speak for myself here. I would be 100% susceptible, minute by minute, second by second, millisecond by millisecond, 1/100th of a billionth of a second at a time. I am susceptible to the foul people of this planet. Because I cannot drive a car without having insurance. When you and I know by qualification after qualification that IN literally means no. So when I buy insurance, that means I am actually paying. I am actually paying an insurance company to give me no sureties. I, myself, under the illusion that when I have car insurance, that I am actually creating some sort of surety for myself, go and buy insurance, paying somebody not to actually do something for me. That means you have paid somebody to give you the direct opposite of a surety, as if to say you never needed that surety from anybody apart from you. You know, and I know, we have house insurance, car insurance, this insurance, that insurance, and you know by word that these things mean no surety. This is how stupid I have been. Asking a toxic company out of the city of London, calling itself Lloyd's, whom we've confronted, buying insurance. An entire trillion upon trillion dollar organization that makes those monies on the back of how stupid I am. And by evidence, how stupid you are. To deny it is to deny evidence. And that is called ignorance of the law, is no excuse. Because by the definitions of the word themselves, those contracts have been disqualified. And the monies that were taken needs to be brought back from the day of when it started back into your lives. How old is Lloyd's Insurance Company? All of it needs to be brought back. That's the power of the decentralized autonomous, the blockchain simply goes in and fixes those problems. Once again, my system is saying, shut it down, you're offline. My system is telling me it's offline. I wish I could take photographs of it and show it to you. But I'm not going to fall for that trick. YouTube is telling me I'm not broadcasting. You need to reboot, which means to break this signal and restart again. The power of education is the words that I have successfully transmitted to you. Once you know that you have been stupefied, hypnotized, it's inevitable that you will wake up. Not awake, because what does awake mean? It means no wake. So hence I don't say this word. I say wake up, not a wake up. I'm awake, the protesters will tell you. I'm awake. Awake? Your subconscious mind has just simply said, don't wake up. You have instructed your own spirit, your own subconscious mind, not to wake up. Just as you have instructed your subconscious mind, your spirit, your conscious mind, and every cell in your body not to grant the prayer, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive those who trespass against us as we will forgive those who trespass against us. Amen. I have doomed my prayer. I want some assurities that when I pass away, my beloved ones, my loved ones, will take up some sort of heritage. This is what the aristocracy get. And poor people are given inheritance. What does inheritance mean? It means no heritage. There isn't going to be any professors, academics, scholastic masturbators that's going to educate you these things, as David Wayne Miller did, and as I am doing with you. Because those professors are paid by the very systems that toxify the language. Through David Wayne Miller, and me taking possession of it, and the gifts that he has given us, and me making sure that it is in place, allows me to educate you on a level that is so iconoclastic that it has no choice but to click you out of your status quo. Even the word iconoclast means no with classed. So I'll remove the poison prefix of the I to say I've just shattered the vase that you have created around mankind, not humankind. And if humans wish to join the species of mankind, they are welcome to do so. As I was stating, I want some sort of surety. So what do I do in my perpetual state of ignorance? Go to lawyers and say, I want life assurance. And they say to me, nobody can insure you against dying, so we'll sell you assurance. And you and I know the word A in front of assurance, or spelt in this case ASS, cancels out the word. Meaning, once again, no surety, no assurance. We are, with 100% evidence, really are that dumbed down. We really are that dumbed down. And for the third time, we, taking collective responsibility, that means I take responsibility first, and then I transmit that responsibility to say, that is how dumbed down we are. And when you take responsibility, you instantly gain power, because nobody gains power without taking responsibility. That includes rights. You want rights, you take up responsibility. You are not entitled to rights unless you show responsibility. And insofar as so many people have neglected to stop and correct your cartoon-like politicians and your most certainly cartoon-like professors, academic scholastic masturbators, you have shown no taking responsibility. Just as a good physician would slap a hysterical man or a woman back into the world of reality, it is this that I have done with you. And you will now transmit this by sharing this video with the millions that need to hear it. Let us explore some of these other words that are not words, but the same words, but let me show you the evidence of what I'm speaking about. This is the word ignorance. I don't know if you are able to read it. I'll do my best. Ignorance or mistake of law is no defense to a criminal charge, or criminal neglect even. Does not involve knowledge on the part of a defendant that he acts or omits were against the law and constitutes a crime. What they basically said is, if you allow yourself to be fooled again and again and again, it's criminality. If you allow your politicians, your banks, your constables, your sheriffs to do what they've been doing, it's you that is the criminal, because you are participating in their criminal activity by being silent. If a man stands by while a woman is being raped, how much of a man are you? Do you not get charged with derelict of duty? Don't ever stand by and watch your fellow man or woman being raped or pillaged. It doesn't matter who they are, you have the power there and then to put them under arrest. You understand that? The mechanisms and the means which by to do this I have given to you in my previous broadcast. Look for it. Makes it very clear. Neglecting is criminality. I was rudely awakened, welcomed, by the way, welcomed, although it's very shocking when I read this book called The Basic Laws of Human Stupidity. I didn't realize that this book existed. And it was only a few weeks ago that I read it, and I realized there and then it is probably one of the finest scientific study that I have ever come across. But it's put in a slightly jovial manner, so it may carry the reach, the psychological reach, on the back of a little bit of humor. but it is an incredibly serious study as to how incredibly stupid we really are. There are many YouTube videos on these subjects that is a must-watch for you to successfully be birthed into the Corona period. I wholly encourage you to read it. If not, watch it. Most of it is very entertaining, but you do need to watch it time and time again, because they will give you, every sentence will be an explanatory reach in itself, which means it's an entire study. Listen, absorb, and be entertained as well. That humorous tone has a fantastic psychological reach. Hence, teachers that teach with humor, as I will be doing next year, have a wonderful relationship with their students. I am not a serious man by nature. I am, shall we say, childish. I like to laugh and joke, like all men and women do. But for these things, I have that overtone of seriousness, which I will be gradually changing when we go into the new year, where I'll be far more humorous. Please watch them. Laws of Stupidity, The Dunning-Kruger Effect, and of course there are other books like Robert Greene, The Basic Laws of Human Nature, telling you how incredibly toxic human beings can be. Humans, not mankind. You need to also be aware of nescience. Any means no. Okay? Lack of knowledge, and they've even put a full colon in front of it to let you know that they're speaking the facts. A full colon means it's a fact. Lack of knowledge, awareness. Awareness, which means no awareness. You see? The evidence is right in front of your face. Lack of knowledge or awareness. If I was to remove the A in front of awareness, it would mean what? It would be awareness. Something that you can wear. By putting it in, it says it's not awareness. Other words for nescience is, again, something of nescience, examples, sentences, so on and so forth, which gives you a basic description, but it means to be ignorant. The nescience, however, is the correct word, because if you go to school and they don't teach you what the consequences of neglect is, then they have failed. What the consequences of neglect is by not putting your terms and conditions in, by not teaching children how to cross the road, which is also part of parental guidance. If you have not taught your children how to safely cross the road, you're a bloody incompetent parent. You know that, and I know that. If I remove the word IN in front, now you become a competent parent. So, deliberate creating of negligence in schools and by politicians means that they are failing you. What good is a servant that cannot serve? A man uttered at the end of a prayer or hymn, meaning so be it. They actually got me convinced nearly 90% of my life. When I put a prayer in, it means so it be. When we have 100% evidence, it means the direct opposite. It's like me going and buying insurance again and again when I know IN means no. I have educated you, the Catholic Church. I have educated you, the Church of England, the Anglican Church, and all those faiths that use these words. You are now, and I am commanding you to teach your congregation, to teach the congregation, you as the teacher, you as the pastor, to educate them on what that really means and give them back the Creator's word. The men and women that were responsible for creating such toxicity, you are now under my command to remove it as I bring in David Wayne Miller's technology, a digital language for a digital age. We know that amoral means what? No morality. By just simply removing the A, we get moral. Incompetence, competence, by just simply removing the IN. This is called passe. Getting assurance, by removing the A, you get assurance. I am now educating the Lloyds of London because I have a treaty with them, which is a foreign country. I have a treaty with them. You are now to educate all of your clients on how you have failed them and that the claims that they put in, you will pay out. That is command by the Chief-Federal-Postal-Court-Judge. This is the command and education principle as a plenipotentiary judge, as well as safeguarding as the master for the City of London. That is my command. The toxicity of a surname, rather than a family name or a Christian name, is that you take on that of a corporate instrument. You take on and you say that you're taking on the sins of your father, rather than a Christian name or a family name or a clan name. SU means no in Latin, just as A means no in Latin, just as IN means no in Latin, just as pronoun means no. PRO, as in provisional license, means you don't have a license. Pronoun, UN, means no, as in none, null and void. And NO means no, just as David Wayne Miller broke the code on these things. Thank you, David Wayne Miller. In my website, there is a page on how the mortgage swindles work and how they've walked mankind into giving up their mankind, their species, move them into this fraudulent language where they can sell death pledges. I want you to comprehend the significance of what I am saying. When you took out a loan, a student loan or credit card, or opened up a bank account, you signed an all powers of attorney. When you did this, just read what it says. We, the owners, have agreed to execute irrevocable powers of attorney in favor of the bank, authorizing the bank to do certain acts, deeds, matters, and things in relationship to the properties in the manner hereafter appearing. Do you understand what that means, even though it's written in toxic language? In Shakespearean language, you understand what it means when a man draws out his dagger and stabs you to death with it. Do you understand this? It says you have no power, you will exercise no power, and you will walk and walk the earth as a stupefied creature. That's one piece of evidence. Okay, and that particular document is from, let me see if I scroll up quick enough, from Citibank. Learn how to reverse it. That which was done with a pen can be undone with a pen. This is another document. I think this one is written in English. Acting on behalf. When you take out this mortgage, you appoint us to be your attorney. A bank that has all powers of attorney over you, oh my Lord. A health minister that has all powers of attorney over you. A surgeon that has more interest in commercial activity and how much your organs are worth on the open market. That is worthless if you are dead. What they call organ donating can only be harvested from your body while you're alive, while your heart is pumping blood into those organs. You think about it. Think about it. I don't want to get angry and blame you or anything like that. Think about what I have just said to you. Pause. Think. An organ that is dead is of no use to anybody. It can only be harvested while you are still alive. You know that and I know that. 3 minutes is the lifespan of an organ without oxygen. Think about it. Think. Think. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, think. However painful it is, think. Or visit one of their websites, one of their websites, NHS, whatever it is, and look up how it's done. It's not being just done to men and women, it's being done to babies. This allows us to do anything needed to use, protect, enforce our rights. Corporations have no rights under this mortgage, in your name and on behalf of you, and on your behalf. This allows us to do anything needed to use, protect, enforce all rights under the mortgage in your name and on your behalf. You out there in internet land, you read that for yourself. Let it reverberate out of your lips so you may hear the horrors of what you have done by not educating yourself and sending your schools to those toxic places, to sending your children to those toxic places called schools, colleges, universities. How many of you that have got PhDs? How many of you that have got degrees? How many of you that have got A-levels, O-levels? How many of you that have gone through college, through school, have done this voluntarily? Which one of you, now that I have educated you, would sign such a document that says such a thing? This allows us to do anything. What about anally rape you? Yes. What about harvest your organs? Yes. What about brutalize you, vaccinate you, chuck you out of your home? What about anything you can imagine? Because anything means anything. In their world of fiction, under their world of legal fictions, this is what you are left with. Don't you ever allow such things to take place. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I was just getting a phone call through. This document includes signing documents entered into agreement and registered any documents at a land registry on your behalf. We can also exchange any information with any other person who has an interest in your property. That means the entire government, the entire banking infrastructure, the entire solicitors, lawyers, anybody belonging to the Bar Association, numbering in their millions, anybody in Africa that has a bar license, anybody in India, China that has a bar license has access to this piece of knowledge, your information, that has access to your home, to your car, to your education as a student loan. Be brave. Don't be frightened of it. Be brave. Brave. Be brave. So you can undo it, because this also involves custody of your children and your babies. I will not say how I feel about these things, because I will just simply get angry. Let me show you where that document is from. This is from a group called Nationwide. It's England based. This particular document, appointment as an attorney. The purpose of the Condition 16 is to enable us to protect our security. By the way, the banks have no money. You are the security, which means they're saying to you that we will protect you. But of course you don't know that because they got you buying insurance. That's how dummified we are. Our interest in a property, we will only exercise our powers as the attorney under the condition blah, blah, blah. And it's the same kind of horror. We or any receiver appoint us by us has and may enter the property of a reasonable time and reasonable notice to inspect blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, you have just signed away everything. And it is horrific as that. This letter, ladies and gentlemen, was sent out all over Britain, and it's also being sent out, has been sent out in the US and all these places. And it's by Department of Health and Social Care. And that simply says there is a company that will give you the COVID test and so on and so forth. And the name of that company, which is written in upper and lower case, the first word, and the second word is written in all uppercase. Anything that is written, any name that is written totally in uppercase, like the graveyard stone, means it's dead, and it signifies death. Ipsos mori. Ipsos mori. Written right there, right in front of your face. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit more. You read that, don't you? You can see that. Now let's have a look what it means. Am I making this up? They die. And they've gone out of their way to even put the word mori, as in mortgage, as in mortuary, in all capitals, to say it's a place of death. We have produced such documents for you to safeguard yourself, so you can send it off to them if they ever ask you for any of these things. This is how dummified and stupid mankind is. Humankind. I've always asked myself, how stupid am I? The answer is incredibly stupid. And I'm the Chief-Federal-Postal-Court-Judge, who have fallen for all manner of tricks, but have learnt from it, because I will not ignore. I will not ignore my ignorance. And I will not hide from my stupidity and create alternative personalities to hide how incredibly stupid I really am. If I do not take responsibility, then I will always be stuck in this position. In those days, I used to wonder how I let some of these people in my life, whether that is the BBC, whether that's a Telegraph newspaper, or an Irish TV station, or even buffoons like this Russell J. Gould, or dumb twit like these that allow themselves to be toxified, or this criminal. This guy was in Australia, just simply call the police and have him arrested if he appears or says anything. This is the BBC. How stupid am I not to know this is what it is? This is, this one is an incredibly stupid man. He has echoism. The level of echoism that these people have is like the word echo itself. Another incredibly stupid man who just simply echo. Echo is the character. Echo is the mythological character where he shall we say, infatuated with the narcissist, and he repeats her word so much so that he himself loses his own words, to the point that all he can do is echo the narcissist's words. And there's about 20% of society that is like that. They're the ones that protect the nasty ones in your life, that toxify your banks, that toxify politicians by your permission, that toxifies and toxifies and toxifies. Previously, that is how stupid I have been, and I have to totally own up to it. Some of these people have heavily benefited from what I have done. But because they are, like the book says, so incredibly stupid, that they would bite the hand that fed them. They would bite the hand that clothed them. They would bite the hand that kept them healthy. They would bite the hand that educated them. They will slander the man or a woman that has been beneficial to them. You understand? There's something here that you need to know. This is Rodriguez, Sugar Man, as it were, the album. He's made himself known in the last 10 years or so. Incredible musician. Love his stuff. Nobody, of course, ever heard of him. And yet in South Africa, at the point when apartheid was the highest. Sorry, I'm not showing you the picture. I do beg your pardon. I'll start again. This is Rodriguez, a very famous musician. And yet most of us even never heard of him. He is a dark-skinned Mexican. A dark-skinned Mexican. In South Africa, when apartheid was raging through 1970s, even 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. He was the #1 selling artist, decade after decade, paralleled with Elvis Presley. He was the anthem behind the apartheid movement, the anti-apartheid movement. Loved by white South Africans, so-called white South Africans, because you now know white, don't use it, as well as so-called native South Africans. I don't want to use the word black, it's a disgusting word. Just as white is, it's a disgusting word. White actually means you're a ghost. But I don't want to get into that. I want you to understand what it is that I'm saying. He was the biggest artist, heavy-selling artist. And all the time he was living in America, nobody ever heard of him. In fact, he was living in poverty as a beggar. Sorry, not a beggar, as a road sweeper. As well as doing odd jobs for people. Living in quite literally in a squat in poverty. Now, how much of that is true, I do not know. But what I do know is he never saw a single penny. He didn't even know that he was as famous as Elvis Presley in a continent that was deemed as being totally racist. How does a dark-skinned Mexican be the most popular artist amongst so-called white people and black people and colored people, which are Asians? How is that possible? Are we to believe the things that we was told about Africa, South Africa? Or just like everything else, we was lied to, manipulated? Do you know that when I trained Germans in Germany, the newspapers said I was a trainer of neo-Nazis? I, dark-skinned man, train Nazis. Neo-Nazis means post-Nazi Germany. I was teaching them how to pay their taxes, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to play 3 seconds of this, otherwise it would be copyright infringement. I think that'll be enough. That's if you're even able to hear it. This will be my last broadcast, live broadcast, until the new year. Sorry, after the new year is when I'll do my next live broadcast. And I wanted to share all these things with you because you need to benefit from it and not be subject to this type of lies. And to recap, as I said to you, your scholastic masturbators, your politicians, your bankers will do its best not to give up their power of attorney over you by saying don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There were never babies. There were monsters. There were gimps and imps pretending to be babies. Demonics. I have given you all of the proof that you need, time and time again, cross-referenced with perhaps 1,000% proof. That's more than what your scientists can do. And I've given it to you so you may comprehend the significance of what that is and tell you can never have a death pledge or a mortgage in your life as you enter 2022. Thank you for allowing me to educate you. If you want to participate and offer your help to further the Federal Postal Court, as well as what I do, contact us. Please remember, you have to have something in order to give it. You can't give it on behalf of other people because you don't have a power of attorney over other people. You are not humans. You are not banks. You are not politicians. You are men and women coming to me, offering help or aid as men and women. thank you very much. Have a happy Christmas. Have a new year. I will be releasing some videos, David Wayne Miller's work as well, and an interview that I did, an interview that was done by one of my students just before Christmas. But on Christmas Day, I'll release David Wayne Miller, and on New Year's Day, I will release David Wayne Miller as well. Okay, and I want to be able to do that just to remind you that there are magnificent, beautiful human, I keep wanting to say human because that's how strong the programming is. What a beautiful man David Wayne Miller is or was. Thank you.